Arif, you can proceed.
Yes, I'll start. Is my screen visible, sir? Hello.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Okay, sir.
visible. Arif.
Yes, I start with. Good evening to one and all present here. I, Muhammad Arif, on behalf of second MHRM DG Vaishnav College, welcome you all for today's webinar on the topic Practical HR Concept. Let us welcome our speaker for the day, Mr. Sundaresan. Mr. Sundaresan has his MA Social Work PMIR from DG Vaishnav College, passed out in the year 1991. He has close to 3 decades of experience in HR, IR, and recruitment. He started his career with Hindustan Unilever and moved on to Indian Petrochemicals Corporation Limited. He started his own consultancy in 1996 with focus on recruitment and training and development. He, along with his classmate, started Protean Staffing Private Limited in the year 2004 with major focus on temporary staffing. As founder director, he has been successfully steering his company on the path of development and success for the past 15 years. His core competencies has been in placing people at various levels in client organizations across the globe. He has handled various assignments in HR during past 3 decades. He is the lifetime member of NHRD. We are happy to have you here, sir.
thank
And
you.
and I would
Please.
like to introduce our head of the department, Human Resource Management, DG Vaishnav College, Dr. N.C. Martin. He is highly experienced academician and and have about 20 years of academic and administrative experience as professor, HOD, dean, and registrar. He did his postgraduate in labor management and PhD in labor laws from Tamil Nadu Institute of Labor Studies. He started his career as lecturer from the same institution. He held various positions in the arts and science colleges, engineering, and media college. Held academic position in various education institutions such as Sri Chandrababu Jain College as assistant professor and HOD of MSW department, and Sam's College of Engineering and Technology as a professor and a HOD of MBA department. He was also the placement officer for the entire division of Sam's College of Engineering and Technology. During his tenure, he successfully placed engineering and management graduates in the top-notch companies of manufacturing and service sector across the country. He continued his career in St. Joseph College of Arts and Science as Dean of Academics and LV Prasad Film School, one of the best film schools in Asia, working as a registrar. He has added a number of research papers and publications to his credit, and he is expert in the subject of labor legislation and industrial relations. He has given center result in various HR specialized subjects in the university examination. We welcome you, sir. Now, I request Dr. N.C. Martin to speak few words about the topics.
Yeah, thank you, Arif. Thank you for the introduction. First of all, I am very pleased to invite our resource person, Mr. Sundaresan sir, for giving his consent to host the webinar for everyone and to get the benefit from inside of his experience. And also, I welcome our professors, the faculties of various institutions, and the students and the HR fraternities. So, on this occasional webinar. The topic, the practical HR concept, so it's been very relevant so that we can get an insight about so how it can be applicable in tuning the theory as well as in practice. So the learning and development in context to HR and industry is a way of achieving value in employees that involves evaluating staff potential and then developing it. So onboarding new staff and honing the skills of current employees. So the term learning often applies to immediate teaching and development as a long-term connotation. So the theoretical knowledge in HR teaches the why. It helps you to understand why one technique works, where another fails. It shows you the whole forest built in context and helps you set strategy. Where self-education concerning theory prepares you to set direction for your future education. So on the whole, theoretical knowledge on HR teaches you through the experience of others. So how we have like our resource person consideration so that we could throw much light on. So theoretical knowledge can often lead to deep understand of HR concept through seeing it in a context of a greater whole understanding the why behind it. So the practical knowledge in HR, it may help you to acquire the specific technique so that becomes the tool of your trade. So it fits much closer to you, actual day-to-day work in organization. So there are some things you can only learn through doing and experiencing, like how you learn and experience during your internship. Where a theory related to HR is often taught in the ideal of a vacuum. So as how you have been exposed in the classroom sessions and all. So the practical is learned through the reality of life in the real scenario of industry practices. So the practical knowledge can often lead to a deep understanding of a concept through the act of doing and through personal experience. So both are important. So you won't survive in any career unless you can bring results, and to do that you need practical knowledge to prove yourself how smart you are to convince your superior. So one cannot avoid this practical approach to solve any of the problem, whether it is of a personal or pertaining to an organization. So at the same time, learning how to solve a specific problem, so only teaches you how to solve that some problem again. So practice can only take you so far. So theory knowledge and HR helps you to apply what you learn solving one problem to different problems in the industry sector. So now I leave the session to research person, and he could throw much more about his experience insight on various aspects relating to HR concepts. So thank you and all the best.
Thank you, Dr. Martin and Arif.
Thank you, sir.
Maybe I'm not sure how much I'm going to live up to your expectation. Still, okay. Let me try my best to live up to that expectation. As you're all aware of, it's an, the HR concepts when you talk about it. It's almost a little a dry one only. Okay, right? Maximum we'll try to put in the practice into it, and we'll try to make it an interesting one. Correct.
Sir, excuse me, sir.
Yeah.
Before starting, I would like to say one thing, sir.
Yeah.
Okay. This session will be recorded for education purpose, so everyone will be muted to avoid disturbance. Question can be posted in the chat box or can unmute yourself at the end of the session. Feedback form will be posted at the end of the session. So everyone kindly please mute yourselves. Okay, you can start the session.
Trust, are you able to see the presentation starting beginning?
Yes, sir, but we couldn't see this presentation, sir. Yes, sir, now we can see the presentation.
Now you can see it?
Yes, sir.
Okay. As we are all aware of, the time that we are now undergoing, this is an very, very exceptional situation which the world never expected. Okay. Now, the order of the day today is working from home. Okay. Working from home has thrown a lot of challenges to HR in terms of practicing the various concepts. And I'm going to take a couple of concepts which I can take it with you as a practical experience that the people have made, okay, in terms of providing the best practices. See, one of the most important aspect that requires in the current situation is the motivation and morale of the employees because of the current working from home situation. Every company is trying to make their best to make working from home a comfortable one for the 1 minute. Yeah. See, motivation and morale is an important aspect of today's life. And every company today is trying their best to make working from home is comfortable for people. The CEOs of companies have been creating, blog sessions where, they have been putting down how they battle their lockdown blues. Okay. Now that has opened up the employees to come out in open and give their feedback how they are also beating the lockdown blues. See, some of the employees have started posting their videos, like, they are doing their rooftop garden and other things. Now, the organizations in this current scenario are opening up a new lines of communication with the employees so that they are able to create feedback loop to take timely action. The reason is that nowadays this is the season when people are having a little mental stress, and they are having a lot of mental issues that they are not able to cope up with the issues. Also, the organizations constantly update the employees on the development and changes or impacts to their work and the business, because this communication is extremely important to keep the employees motivated and to work. To make this work from home comfortable, what is it the companies are making it? Some of the organizations are providing employees with allowances to purchase comfortable chairs and tables. There are companies which are sending the existing tables and the workstations to their employees so that they make the work from home comfortable for them. As well as they are also trying to provide assistance for improving the internet speed, because working from home requires the internet speed. Some companies also reimburse on monthly internet charges. Some of the companies provide allowances to purchase UPS. See, UPS is required because there's a lot of power cuts and people need to be connected when it is required. So since the connectivity is important, so companies are taking action to see to it that there is no disruption in work due to power cuts. Some multinational companies also provide allowance to purchase air conditioners so that they can beat the summer heat. So these are some of the things which the companies take in order to motivate the employees and keep their morale high. Now, coming to a next concept, the support which I was talking about to create a home office is by providing them with comfortable chairs, ergonomic chairs, and this thing, so that they are able to work comfortably and have an office feel. Now we have faced certain situations similar to this, the blues of lockdown. I would say that a couple of my employees had come up to us and stating that after this, April, May, by end of May, we were talking about what is going to happen, whether the office is going to open up or it's going to be closed down, or how it is going to run. We were just checking up with our employees, how are they doing and what is happening on a daily basis, and we are having our own conversations. During this period, we found that a couple of our employees came up and asked us, "Sir, are you going to open this thing in the first week of June when the government has said we can open the office?" We said, "Why? What is the problem?" They said, "If this situation is going to continue, then you need to help us in creating a diverse." I said that, "What is the issue here?" They say that it creates a family problem. We are mentally stressed at home. So we had to work out a lot of issues. We had to talk to them and tell them that the situation is like this, that we need to cope with the situation and work with this. See, in fact, there was another HR professional who shared that the work from home has created problems, issues in terms of having a personal life and personal time. He said he didn't have time to wash the vessels in the house and he had to spare the lunch time, which is used to wash the vessels, and he need to complete within that time. So this work from home has created a lot of mental stress and issues for the employees, which the companies are now trying to help them out in how to coming out of that situation. I want to touch upon a next concept which has been picking up with most of the companies today: onboarding. Onboarding is seen as a separate HR function by some of the large companies, and they have separate resources allocated to take care of this onboarding function. What is onboarding? Onboarding is a function which plays a vital role in getting the to-be employee into the company without much of hassles. As you are aware that most of the companies have a long notice period, onboarding team has to maintain relationship with the offered employee and give him a feel that he's part of the company till joining the company. So what is it that this onboarding team does in the company? I'm sure some of you, if you are selected in the company, may be part of such onboarding team. See, the important functions of this onboarding team are document collection, schedule for medicals prior to joining, share necessary documents to background verification agency, or some companies do a direct background verification, weekly, bi-weekly call to keep candidates engaged till joining, sending flyers to the prospective employee about company's performance and important changes and activities that is day to day till the employee joins the company. Sharing welcome mail on the day before joining with a list of documents required for completing joining formalities. Then introductory orientation of the company on the date of joining, and then handing them over to the training department for induction. Also, they guide the new employee to get the required asset. So when we say asset, it is, companies may provide laptops, companies may provide mobile, companies may provide some gadgets which is required for the employee to carry out their day-to-day operations. Also, very important function of this onboarding team is to collect feedback from the candidates about the company and his or her experience with the company at the end of 30 days, 60 days, and 90 days. Okay, why do we stop after 90 days? Normally, any employee who stays with the company for 90 days are expected to complete minimum 1 year or 2 years with the company. Anybody who leaves the company would leave within the period of 90 days if they are not happy with the company. So this is a function of onboarding. So let's move to the next concept on employee engagement. Employee engagement is again an important function which is picking up with all the companies, and companies have set up a separate set of department and a set of people to take care of employee engagement. But the employee engagement during this pandemic has posed a heavy challenge and a great challenge for HR. Why is it? Because it is important to assess not only the physical and health ramifications of pandemic, but also to anticipate the subsequent emotional impact it will have on the overall well-being of the individuals. We are all aware that humans are naturally oriented towards other humans and are inherently built for social connections. Socialization plays a key role in both individual, societal learning and development and or even survival. So during this pandemic period, even this lockdown, the employees have a limited human interaction. Okay, their social connections and interactions are being limited. This being the case, this affects the physical and the health ramification. So HR is trying their best to compensate the lack of interactions. Like every company has got water cooler conversation. What is that? Water cooler conversations are when during your work period you just take a small off, go for a glass of water, and during that period you meet your colleague and you discuss something on about the organization or anything that you discuss. These water cooler conversations, tea break meetings, these are all and stress busters for these employees. Lunchtime banters, which are serving as glue even to unite the teams and drive collaboration. And now companies are trying to have lighter side engagements because it's going to be a virtual one, asking employees to post funny videos on how things can go wrong while working from home. There are a lot of things, the children, they run around, they come when you're having your important meeting, they just show their face and say hi to everyone and then run off. Okay, you can't even, avoid such things. So such kind of this thing, they try to post the videos of such activities and make it a lighter one for the employees. Also, employees are encouraged to share their parental woes because in this 24/7 lockdown, they have a very limited support system. Both the parents may be employed and they were having schools and then the care centers were there. But all these things have been now closed down and they have to take care of they have to play both the roles of a caretaker as well as an teacher as well as a parent. Even some companies have started virtual tea breaks. Virtual tea breaks are having employees on a conference, okay, having a tea break. They will never discuss business. It is purely a personal or gossiping or the other kinds of this thing, so that they don't miss out on gossips, and it's a ventilation point as well as a team building measure. Companies also conduct weekly training sessions and workshops to ensure psychological, physical well-being of the employees. So this is one of the important employee engagement that they are having. They encourage employees to find work-life balance, which is again a very, very important thing, because when they work from home, it is taken for granted that employees are available for 24/7. The first 4 months or 3 months has been a very tough time for all employees who are working from home, because they were having almost 24/7 calls, meetings, everything. After the 3 months period and people started venting out that they were all mentally stressed out, they are not able to complete this thing, and they don't have personal time, managements have started realizing and they started working on this work-life balance for such virtual working environment. So as we are aware that they face challenges to separate work and home routines during the work from home. Therefore, to support the employees fulfill both personal and professional priorities during these times, organizations have advised the senior and middle management to maintain a no meeting block in the employees' calendar, so that employees can plan their family life and personal time. Also, some of the organizations are insisting on employees availing leaves during this time, so that they are not disturbed at all during that time. Even the engagement in terms of employee engagement, fun activities such as videos of how others are coping with remote working helps others to feel a sense of community. Also, companies organize regular talks by experts motivational coaches, activities like virtual yoga sessions, etc., to help employees to stay calm, focused, and feel connected while they work from home. So, as far as employee engagement, these are some of the major activities which the companies are taking up in terms of engaging the employees virtually. Now, coming to the next concept, performance management. Now, companies have been moving from performance appraisal arena to performance management area. Now, what is difference between appraisal and management? See, appraisal is like, doing a post-mortem after things have happened. Whereas performance management is, as the person performs, we try to bring the best out of the person. So there is a difference between these two aspects. What are the key features that companies are trying to build in managing the performance? First point is developing the trust. See, extending trust to the employees. Management have shown a lot of this thing that we trust you, so that there is an improved productivity from the employees. So there is a lot of trust factor which is being imposed on the employees. Next one is the companies are working out on continuous performance management. What is this? Building a new ongoing process for goal setting, coaching, evaluation, and feedback. The most important terminology here is ongoing. Okay, in performance appraisal, it is either at the end of a particular period or a mid, or there is a time frame when you do this thing. Whereas in performance management, it is an ongoing process. Okay, goals are changed and it's work. Okay, let's take an example how this continuous performance management would work on. Since April, during this lockdown, we'll take scenarios of two different industries. One is an industry which is involved in the manufacturing of cars, manufacturing of high-end things like electronic equipments, televisions, refrigerators, etc. The other side, let's take industry which is involved in your fast-moving consumer goods. Okay. Now, based on this continuous performance management, during the month of June, the companies would have already set up a performance listing in the month of February. They would have set the targets, goals would have been set, and for the year 2020, 2021. So they would have started working on that. Whereas the pandemic has started by end of March and lockdown has started. This affects the goals already set. Now companies go for a review of the goal setting. Okay. Now the people working in the manufacturing setup, like the car manufacturers and refrigeration manufacturers, they review their goal setting and they may reduce their targets and other things. Whereas people working in FMCG, they have not seen any decrease or decline in their demand area. It has been continuously an upward demand area. They have not seen any decline in their sales or things. So people working in fast-moving consumer goods, the goals set even at the time of the before the pandemic stays good for them, and there's no review for them because they have some of them have even outperformed. For example, biscuit and chocolate industries have outperformed in the first 3 months of this year, first quarter. So what happens in continuous performance management is an ongoing process in goal setting. So there is a review of goal setting will happen. There is a coaching, continuous ongoing coaching is there. So how to improve upon, then evaluation, then feedback. So there is some continuous this thing. So this improves the performance of the individual, and they are able to, employees will be able to contribute more. Now, next one is improving the employee experience. What is employee experience? It is an human experience. The thoughts, the feeling, the emotions, decisions, and overall qualitative experience anyone is undergoing while working in a company is an employee experience. It is how someone feels, quality of relationship and communications. In fact, the top management has been focusing to get most of the employees, leaders consider how they can help employees to their best. Rather than getting most of the out of the employees, they are now trying to work out how they can get the best out of the employees. So there is some change from most to how to get the best from the employees. Now, the next area where people are working for performance management, the thing is analytics. Yes, people analytics. There's a lot of data available today, and there are tools available with the management that they are able to rely on data which is being provided on employee productivity, on employee engagement. The companies can collect more and better data today than compared to previous years on turnover, team interaction, well-being, employee feedback. Even managers can make more informed decisions and improve the employee decisions based on this. Employee experience can be improved based on these people analytics. Now, the next area is on focus on individualized employee support. What is individualized employee support? See, every employee are not same, and their requirement of support need not be same. For example, some employees will be fine working in open collaborative spaces. Others may feel distracted. They may not be able to contribute better. So based on the individualized employee, this thing, you support them how to have their work environment. Giving employees option where they work, depending on the task, can affect the short-term productivity and long-term engagement. Which means that an employee, when we are able to individualize the employee support, we are able to engage them long-term with the company. Point. Next is a streamlined approach to learning and employee development. Today, the young workforce majority look for professional development and career growth opportunities as most important factor in their job. So, company has to provide the required professional development and career growth for the employees, for them to contribute to the company, improved performance, and give their best. If this is not going to happen, this can happen only through streamlined approach to learning and employee development. Now, I'm going to take on certain concept which I think will require a participation from the group. I'm going to now touch upon certain practical aspects of office or day-to-day working. When you go and start working in an organization, this thing. What are the type of holidays that you are aware of? Or if can we get participants
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Participant can unmute yourself if you really can. Sir.
What are the type of holidays that we are aware of?
National festival
Sick
holidays.
leave.
Madam, holidays.
National festival holidays.
National festival holidays. Fine. Yes. National festival holidays we are aware of. What? How many are there? National festival holidays.
National holidays of US international countries.
4.
Sir? Hello? Can you come back? Hello? How many days of national festival holidays do we have?
4.
Sir, 9 days, sir.
9 days. How is it split?
5 plus 4.
5 of what national and 4 of festival?
No, sir. 5 of the festival and 4 of the national.
Right, you're right. Yes, we are having that. It is. Is it mandatory? Again, 9.
Yes, sir. It is mandatory. It depends upon the state, the local holidays, sir.
My question is that 9 days, is it mandatory?
Yes, sir. According to the law, it is mandatory, sir.
According to the law, it is mandatory.
Yes,
Okay.
sir.
Okay. Do we have a separate law for this?
Yes, sir. We do have, sir.
Do have, and each state have their own, National Festival Holidays Act.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So what happens? What happens if you are not able to give a holiday to the employee during this festival or national holidays? For example, you work in a newsprint industry, okay, or you work in a continuous industry or public service, public utility service. What happens? What are we supposed to do if somebody works on national and festival holidays? We are not able to provide them the holiday.
They are given with compensation leave, sir.
Okay.
And they're all, if they're working on the particular day, I mean, a particular national festival holidays, they're also given with double wages.
They are also given with double wages as well as compensatory holiday.
Compensatory holiday, yes, sir.
Sir,
So-
Form 5A should be submitted to the inspector.
Which one? Form
Form 5A. Form 5A.
Form 5A to be submitted, fine. But my question is that is compensatory holiday and twice the wages to be provided, or is it twice the wages or compensatory holiday?
Either one will be provided, sir.
Either one will be provided. Okay, fine. Yes, it is to be provided. What is the importance of this act? Okay, to have provided one more thing is importance about this particular national festival holiday is that you need every company need to get their Form 4 filed with the respective authorities and get their national festival holidays approved. Okay, right. So once that is approved, it has to be put up where? Hello. The national festival holidays, once it is approved by the registered authorities before the calendar year, has to be
Notice board, sir.
with a lot of doubts. It has to be put in the notice board, failing which
Sir, couldn't hear you, sir.
failing which are you able to hear? Failing which, if you don't put up in the notice board,
So failing which actions can be taken legally.
by whom?
by the
Okay,
employer.
failing which the
Uh,
respective authority has got right to fine the employer. Who is the employer? Who is the head of your organization? They can be brought to the court and fined. Okay, that is the important feature of this particular thing. That is the reason why National Festival Holidays is put up in the notice board. Okay, having come to this thing of notice board, what are the other legislations which are supposed to be put up in the notice board?
Change of shifts, sir, for the employees should be put up in the
I'm
notice
talking
board.
about legislation.
Okay, sir.
Abstract of the acts.
Huh?
Abstract of the acts. Sir.
Which acts, sir?
Say Factories Act, Minimum
Wages Act.
Okay.
Minimum wages.
Yes, the act which are applicable to the factory or an establishment.
No. Okay, can come again, please.
So all the acts that are applicable to that particular factory or an establishment must be put up in the notice board.
Let me tell you one thing, friend, that the acts which is to be put up in notice board is almost common for both factories and establishment.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
See, okay, Payment of Wages Act, as rightly pointed out. Okay, the Minimum Wages Act rightly pointed out. Okay, you have to have the gratuity, Payment of Gratuity Act also to be put as an abstract, which is available. Nobody can read that, but okay, and but it's only an an requirement to be put up. Okay, payment of wages, minimum wages, gratuity, and your
standing orders, sir.
Standing orders has to be put up, but abstract is not necessary. It has to be kept in the time office or your front office. This thing, whichever is this thing.
ESI, EPF, sir.
No, ma. This maternity leave.
Yes. Okay.
The Maternity Benefits Act to be put up. Okay, these are the four major things which any legal authority who comes to the organization, he first inspects this. First point of this thing is this. Okay, then only he goes for next to this thing. There is a one word which I have written here called RH in holidays. Okay, there's something called restrictive holidays. Have you heard about it? Hello.
No, sir.
Hello. In the national and festival holidays, some of the major organizations, they follow restrictive holidays.
Regional, does that mean regional holidays, sir?
Not necessarily regional holidays. It's called restrictive holidays. See what happens. Okay, I'll give it out this way. See, government offices. Okay, some of the major companies having offices across India, they have concept called restrictive holidays. They put up, more than 9 days in the national festival holidays, mentioning some of the festival holidays, mentioning it as RH. For example, some festival holiday which is being celebrated in North may not be celebrated in the South. The employee there might prefer to take a leave on that particular day, and he is allowed to take that to this thing. But overall, they might restrict it to 9 days. Any doubt?
I am sorry. Could you please repeat that,
Hello?
sir?
Yes.
Could you
Hello?
please repeat that, sir?
Okay. See, companies, they give, they get the list of national festival holidays, even more than 9 days. They get it as listed and they get it approved from the registering authority because they have a national presence. Okay, so like banks and government offices, central government offices, state government offices, they all have a concept called restrictive holidays, where some of the festivals which is being celebrated in the north need not be celebrated in the south, and which is celebrated in the south are not celebrated in the north, and it may be important for these people to take leaves on that particular day. So they use this restrictive holiday, but they keep the number of days as 9, or some companies even give more than that, even 12 days, 15 days also. Even government, if you take, they are giving more than 15 days for employees as holidays, festival and national holidays, including restrictive holidays. Am I clear? Audible?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay. Now, there is one more holiday called the weekly holiday. What is that?
Sundays?
Yeah. Is it necessarily Sunday?
No, sir.
One
Any
day of a
one
week should.
day.
Huh?
The weekend off?
Week off.
Hello?
One day off from the week, sir. It needn't be Saturday or Sunday, but any one day.
Sure?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now I take a differentiation between two places. Okay. One is an establishment, the other one is a factory. What is the weekly holiday? Man, yeah, definitely you people know that you have undergone. I am given to understand that you have undergone a very strong session on legislations. Hello.
Hello, sir.
Now take us.
Hello, sir. Maunika Reddy has posted that no, sir, one off in the week in the chat box.
Okay, one off in the week, because see, I'm not able to see the chat box here because I'm on the screen sharing. So
Yes, sir.
okay.
I will read it for you.
One off in a week. See, that's what I'm asking. Two different scenario. Okay, one is an establishment. Okay, the other one is an factory. For both, it is same.
We are actually unable to understand the question.
Okay. Okay. Let me make it more explicit. Whether weekly holiday for a factory is any day in a week, and for an establishment, weekly holiday can be any day in a week.
Excuse me, sir. Every 6 days, 6 working days, the 7th day will be the holiday, as per the Factories Act or as per the Establishment of Factories Act, Standing Order Act.
Yes. Yeah, okay. Is it according to standing orders, or according to establishment, or Factories Act?
So might change according with the company policy, sir.
Okay. See, I'm giving you this thing. See, Factories Act has clearly said what is a weekly holiday. And
Sir, according to
shops and establishment has given what is a weekly holiday.
So for Factories Act, I suppose the first day of the week is a holiday.
What is the first day of the week?
Sunday, sir.
How is it? How it is Sunday?
Week starts with a Monday, sir. Ends with a Sunday.
So first day of the week?
Maybe, sir.
Actually, I guess it's different in different countries, whereas in UAE it's Friday, and
Correct. Correct.
in India it's
Now we are talking about Indian category. Okay, we are talking only about India and the applicability of this particular concept to India. Okay, let me tell you, Factories Act states first day of the week, and first day of the week is Sunday. There is a clear definition as to what is a week in Factories Act. If you see in the first definitions, okay, it states that week starts with Sunday. Can factories provide some other day as an holiday, weekly holiday?
Yes, sir.
How?
So given that we notify that with the Inspector of Factories.
It's not notification, you need to take the permission from Inspector of Factories. For a very long time, Ashok Leyland was having Monday as an weekly holiday. For a very long time. They have changed it some, maybe a few years back, 5 to 7 years back or 10 years back. That was one major company which was running with Monday as a weekly holiday. Okay, see, there is a workload for the factory, and they need to work on a weekly holiday. Am I clear? There is a workload for the factory, and there is a delivery that needs to go out, and they need to work on the weekly holiday, that is on Sunday. So what is the legal thing that they need to take? As an HR person, if you are employed in a company, your manager asks you to take the necessary applications. Sir, any takers? Hello? Anybody in the line?
Yes, sir.
Hey, no issues here, whether it is right or wrong, please. Unless you people are going to have something, or you say don't know, no problem. We are going to give you this thing. Why we are making this effort is that these are certain concepts which are the your base on which your whole career is going to be built. In terms of establishment, any day of the week can be this thing, but it has to be a particular day which has to be mentioned to the concerned authority, and it cannot be changed within 3 months. So that is for establishment. Coming to Factories Act, if you need to work on a Sunday, then either you have to give a holiday 3 days before or 3 days after Sunday. Am I clear?
Yes, sir.
Are you able
Yes,
to
sir.
get my
Yes, sir.
question?
Yes, sir.
A weekly holiday, if employees are asked to work for demand of orders or demand is there, so
Clear, sir.
they have to provide a holiday either 3 days before or 3 days after. And no employee can work, factory successor can work beyond 10 days continuously. Okay. Now I'll give you a situation. The company is working on Sunday. They have given on Thursday as a weekly holiday, and they continue to work on that Sunday. And next Sunday also they work and give Wednesday as a compensatory holiday. Can they do that?
So you mean that they cannot work for 10 days continuously in a row?
And that's what I'm asking. Can they do that?
No. Maybe if they get that extra pay.
No, there's no extra pay because they are giving the holiday, right?
Oh, okay.
Okay. In this case, it is construed that the holiday which you provide 3 days before or 3 days after, as holiday provided on a Sunday. That is, the 10 days is exempted for this particular concept alone. Are you able to get that? Any doubt?
Sir, yeah, a doubt, sir.
Yeah.
Sir, does that mean the company can make the employee work more than a week without a holiday?
Yes, because that is what the Act has given the exemption. It is construed that the holiday given on Thursday is as good as Sunday. Okay, and the next Wednesday, which is given as a compensatory holiday, is taken as a weekly holiday given for Sunday.
Sir, it's a bit tricky and confusing, sir. Could you?
You read the Act, okay, right? Definitely, and still you have doubt, you can take my number from Arif. I will explain that to you. Section 72 to 75. Okay, we'll give you that. Sorry, 72 to 74, 75, we'll give you that. Okay. Still, if you don't understand that, I will give you this thing. Okay. There is another situation where employees are required to work on all 4 Sundays, and we have applied for Inspector of Factories permission that we have demand and we are not able to provide a holiday in the same month, compensatory holiday. Okay, right? So what happens?
Well, they'll definitely have to pay extra time and also give a few days off.
Definitely, they'll
after the month.
be paid their wages for that working day.
Maybe a week off after the month to compensate that.
The Act says that with the permission once taken, they can give compensatory holiday within next 2 months. Within next 2 months, they can give compensatory holiday.
Okay.
For this thing, because these are all exceptions which is given because these situations are probably nowadays people are not experiencing that. During the 5-10 years back, the kind of workload and the companies were working, they used to have such very critical working that people used to, some of the garment industries and other things you see, they used to work a particular month. It's a seasonal one. They work for continuously, they work for a month, and the next this thing you see, they will give some compensatory offs in the next 2 months, and they run it off. Okay, now we'll come for next one, leaves. What are the different types of leaves you are aware of? Sorry, last one. I will stop with this and leave it for questions. Leaves.
So paid leave, maternity leave,
Earned leave.
Sickness leave, sick leave, compensatory leave.
Compensatory leave will not come. It's on holiday.
Okay, sir.
Earned leave. Earned leave. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Earned leave.
Okay. Then you have CL. You have CL?
Casual leave, sir.
Yeah. You have?
so
Yes,
study leave or educational leave.
See,
Sick leave,
those are
sir.
all exceptions.
Sick
Those
leave,
are
sir.
all exceptions which, yeah, those are all exceptions. Study leave, missing are exceptions which the company provide for certain employees with, some kind of an expectation in return. Right? These are all standard leaves which has to be given. So those are all prerogative of the organization. Okay. These are all certain leaves which needs to be provided. Definitely. But are you all aware of the EL earned leave concept and how much, what? Arey yaar, you people are going to work in next 6 months. Hello.
So like if you work for a specific number of days and then you earn certain leaves for that. I think that is earned leave.
Okay.
And also, sir, there are going to be no deductions when an employee is going to take an earned leave.
Right. So how many days of earned leave that a person can get?
Sir, if the person works for 20 days, he gets one leave, sir. One earned leave.
For 20 days, he gets one earned leave.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay. For 20 days, one day earned leave. So say if the employee
They
joins,
have worked for 240 days in the preceding 12 months, and they must have worked for 20 days to get one earned leave. In case of an adult, in case of a child, the child must have worked for 15 days to get one day as earned leave.
okay, in the preceding 12 months, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Say now, for example, I join a company or I join your company on June. So my leave will start only from next June.
Yes, sir.
Or when I complete my 240 days. Correct?
Yes, sir.
Hey, I want to understand here. Correct? Am I understanding it right? Hey, is
yes,
my understanding
sir.
right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now there is something called calendar year. What is that?
Calendar year is from January to December, sir.
Right. Okay. So the act says preceding 12 months or calendar year.
Yes, sir. It is been mentioned.
Preceding 12 months. Preceding 12 months, sir. It's preceding 12 months.
Preceding 12 months.
Preceding 12 months, sir. Yeah.
Preceding 12 months. It says preceding calendar year. It says preceding calendar year. So which means from January to December, if an employee has worked for 240 days. Okay, then in the next year, okay, that is from January, next January, he will be eligible for 1 day of EL for every 20 days he has worked. Have I got it right? Hello?
Yes, sir.
Hello?
Yes, sir.
Have you got it right? Okay. See, suppose somebody joins in the month of March, somebody joins in the month of June, somebody joins in the month of September. Can they complete 240 days? You have to tell yes or no.
No.
No. Then what happens? How do they get EL?
From January to December?
So
They'll
for
have to
every
complete
20 days of work, they get 1 day of earned leave, sir. So accordingly, they calculate, sir.
Correct.
That
Hey,
is my
that's what, ma.
understanding, sir.
Unless the person completes 240 days, hello? Unless the person completes 240 days, you will not be eligible. What happens if he joins in between and he cannot complete 240 days?
So will it be carried forward?
Yes, ma.
Will it be carried forward, sir?
No, carry forward. We'll talk next time. But he has to get some earned leave, right? Because the calendar year, you close the calendar year. Okay, next calendar will start from January.
But those are the emergency leaves, I guess.
I'm not able to get. Can you come again?
Those are emergency leaves, I guess.
No. See what the act says is, if they have worked for 2/3 of the remaining number of days, then they will be eligible for 1 day for every 20 days. Hello? Are you able to get it?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, unless you people are clear, it's not fine with me. That's why. Okay, how many? See, earned leave can be carried forward. Okay, how many days they can carry forward?
30 days, sir.
One answer, 30 days. Then any other?
In next 2 months?
No. See, for the next year, how many earned leaves? Say, suppose X has worked this year, he has not taken any leave. Okay, so he has got 24 days, for example. Okay, so next year he carries forward this 24. Next year also he is not taking any leave. So how many days he can carry forward such kind of earned leave?
No idea, sir.
Any guess? Huh?
No.
Sir,
Okay.
will be carried forward
Yeah.
and they can accumulate it till 30 days, until it reaches 30 days, and after that either it will be encashed, or in some organizations it will just
They can take 30 days leave or subsequently. Either they can encash the 30 days leave or they can take compulsory off for 30 days.
See, Act is very clear. They say that it is 30 days they can carry forward. Okay, and beyond 30 days it can be encashed. Okay. Organization can give any number of days additional if they want to. Suppose the organization wants to provide 40 days as and carry forward for the employee for the benefit of the employees, Act will not come in between and say that no. But it cannot be only 20 days of carry forward. Okay. Right? Okay. Coming to the next one as casual leave. Is it a legal one? We'll finish with this. Sorry to extend it. We'll finish with this. Sorry, I have extended by 10 minutes. CL, is it mandatory? No takers? No takers? Then I leave it as it is. Whoever wants to know about this can come back on personal note. We will discuss about it.
So are casual leaves emergency leaves?
No. It can be taken on emergencies. Okay. It is called a casual leave. Okay. My question is it mandatory? My question is, is it that we should give? Definitely we should give. If we have to give, then how many days?
Sir, hello, sir.
Yeah.
Sorry to interrupt, sir. Actually, we are running short of time, sir.
Fine. I'm closing with this.
Yes.
I'm closing with it. Just 2 minutes.
Yes.
So maybe 3 or 4 days?
Okay. Let me. Huh? Okay. I'm giving you one this thing, and then I'd like to close. We'll have it separately. You can or some other time when we try to meet up. Okay. Right. See. For establishments, it is very clearly given, okay, earned leave, casual leave, sick leave of 12 days each is given very clearly. As far as Factories Act is concerned, you consult your professors, okay, whether it is mandatory, how it is, or where it is. We provide, it's given, okay, right? I will definitely keep you posted on this. For whoever is interested on the answer, you can come back. After finding out, if you are not able to find out, please come back. Right? Thank you, friends, for your time. I'm not sure how much I'm able to take you through with, but still, thank you for your patient listening.
Thank you, sir. So we can close the session with the formal vote of thanks. Okay. I thank Mr. Sundaresan for his valuable inputs in the topic practical HR concept. Hope this session helps everyone about the practical concepts and its importance. Thank you, sir. I would also like to thank our beloved HOD and Dr. NC Martin for arranging this webinar, and I would thank Professor Subatini for her support to organize this webinar. Finally, I extend my gratitude to the participants from various professions and students. Once again, thank you all. Have a nice day.
Thank you, friends. Thanks,
Thank you,
Dr. Martin. Thanks, Dr. Martin. Thank you.